Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the official Unofficial podcast. And before we begin, I just have to say that this is going to, that we are, this podcast is going to be on hiatus. And I don't really know when we're going to be back. Except for I want to try to do a review for the Wonder Woman movie. So that movie comes out June 2nd, and I'm hoping that we can record an episode June 3rd. So that is what I'm hoping to do. And after that, I'm really not sure because I'm working on some stuff that I can't really talk about just now. But I hope to be able to talk about that stuff soon. So, anyways, returning to the podcast is Jaren, also known as Black Arm 1995 Gaming.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back
And
before the hiatus.
Yep, and of course, the one person that will put me to sleep talking about Dark Souls and PC hardware. Edward is back.
Oh, that's the most definite right there. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So, well, first I have to talk about some sad news, and I'm sure you've seen the video of me talking about it before, if you have. But one person that has been very important to me in my life, one person that I had a great amount of admiration, great respect for, someone that inspired me, someone that I looked up to a lot, Chris Cornell. He died on Wednesday, and I was very saddened by that because I loved Soundgarden. I loved Temple of the Dog and Audioslave and his solo work, and I would spend a lot of time watching his concerts with all his various bands, and I just loved spending years listening to his music, and he was a great inspiration to me and is definitely one of my favorite singers of all time. So I was very sad to hear about him passing away so suddenly, and so I was very fucked up all yesterday, and all I could do yesterday was just watch concerts that he did throughout the years. And yeah, so I will miss him very much. So, Edward, do you have anything to say about Chris Cornell?
Chris Cornell. I mean, what really surprised me the most about this is, when I hear about celebrities dying like this, I always think, well, was it a prescription drug overdose? Did they mix them? Did they drink some alcohol with it? Did they overdose? I mean, so many musicians that were popular in the late 60s and into the 70s, and then a whole new generation, the Gen X, rockers of, the late 80s and the early 90s, the grunge rockers. Like, a lot of them died from, suicide or drug overdoses, heroin. Heroin was, opiates, opioids, all that shit. And I always think it's prescription drugs mixed with alcohol, sleeping pills mixed with alcohol, maybe heroin or something like that. Here he must have had some fit of depression, and he hung himself. Like, that's
and
it sounds like Robin Williams.
Yeah,
very similar.
Yeah, because when you were watching footage of Chris, he seemed perfectly happy, and it's like we didn't know anything was wrong with him. So when I heard that, because Keanu texted me at 3 a.m. said Chris Cornell died, and I was into shock because like, wait, no. And then I just immediately started crying because I just didn't want to believe it. And it's just so sudden, so unexpected. It's just goddamn.
Scumbag Roger Ailes took the thunder of Chris Cornell dying.
Who's Roger Ailes?
you don't know who Roger Ailes is. He made Fox News what it is today. He had worked there. He'd been the head of Fox News for 20 some odd years, and then just within the last year he had to resign or he got fired because of sexual harassment allegations, which he had been doing for a very, very long time, and it finally caught up to his ass. And same thing with Bill O'Reilly, why he had to leave Fox News.
I thought he was just an asshole, and it just finally caught up to him.
No, both of them, they left because of sexual harassment.
Well, you know what? Good. Well, so Roger Ailes is dead.
I mean, yeah, Roger Ailes. This dude is like, it's getting a little political here, but this dude is responsible for like the Fox News, fixed news, faux news, fake news, whatever. Them calling everything else the mainstream media. That's like Fox News like invented that. Okay, dude. Like that was all from Fox News and Roger Ailes.
Well, he seemed he seemed like
he may have been the most powerful American that didn't hold any elected office of the last 25 years. He could have been the most powerful American that didn't help. He wasn't, a politician or anything, but he was like untouchable for a long time.
So was he untouchable in the same way that like someone like Ted Turner is untouchable because he owns CNN?
Well, the thing is they were both kind of the thing is I would compare Ted Turner more to Rupert Murdoch. Okay. The thing is, Ted Turner also, he's had ups and downs in his career. I'm pretty sure he lost a shitload of money after like that AOL Time Warner. I think he was involved in that. There was like the tech boom or something. He lost a shitload of money. He lost like billions of dollars. But Ted Turner's pretty old, but he keeps like a low key. He's been kind of like living in peace for a long time. He's got like a big property up in Montana where he like raises bison and shit. You know what I mean? He's one of the largest property owners in the United States.
Yeah.
Just because of just
I mean, that's why when Will Arnett would pretend to be Ted Turner on Conan before, he would always be riding on a fake buffalo.
That's where it comes from.
Yep.
He owns a lot of bison, and he also owns at least one restaurant. There might be a chain of restaurants where they serve bison steak.
Okay.
And just to say, I'm very frugal. I really don't like going to restaurants, but bison steak sounds very. If I was going to try some, exotic American food, that would be close to the top of my fucking list of having a bison steak.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Okay. All right. So yeah.
So Roger Ailes is a scumbag. We're better off without him. Chris Cornell's dead. I don't know if we're going to say anything else about him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was like he made Soundgarden like the Led Zeppelin of the 90s. Okay, Chris Cornell.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Soundgarden. Okay. I mean, yeah, they are they're Soundgarden. I would absolutely put them. Compare them to Led Zeppelin, but I feel like Soundgarden, as far as like their sound, I would put them more similar to like Black Sabbath, whereas they had more of that doom style. I guess you could say Soundgarden, in my opinion, they have like the heaviness of Black Sabbath, but as a singer, Chris Cornell had a tonal range more similar to Robert Plant than Ozzy Osbourne.
You hit it on there. Some of the best aspects of Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that I would say that's more accurate. So, Jaren, well, I'd recommend for you Soundgarden. They have an album that came out in 1991 called Bad Motorfinger. That's the one I'd recommend for you. It's a fucking amazing album. Because that had Rusty Cage, which Johnny Cage later did. Not Johnny Cage. That Johnny Cash later did a cover of.
It was in San Andreas.
Yeah.
On
What's
the
the name of it?
Rusty Cage.
Well, yeah, it's Bad Motorfinger. It's all one word. That's the name of the album.
All right.
So that's what I'd recommend for Soundgarden. Yeah. So then, so I am going to miss Chris Cornell a lot. Like, this is the one musical death that's gonna hit me the hardest, because this is the first time I've experienced a musical death. Honestly, the first time since David Bowie that I've been here to witness a death of a musical icon for me that died, and I was already insanely familiar with their music. It was a situation like that, whereas with Prince, I really didn't know his music too well until, in the weeks following Prince's death, I went ahead and went through a phase of discovering all his music the first time. Whereas with Soundgarden, I knew them. I knew a lot about them, and Chris Cornell, and Audioslave, and Temple of the Dog, and all that stuff. That was my wheelhouse. So when someone in my wheelhouse dies like that, that really hurts me.
Tell you something. This was in The Devil's Rejects, and I didn't know this. It's related to celebrities dying.
The Devil's Rejects, the Rob Zombie movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
The sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses. There's this part in the movie where they're talking about, all the main characters of the Psycho family, they have names that are named after Marx Brothers characters in Marx Brothers movies from back in the 30s. Harpo, Groucho, Checo, whatever, all those guys have played, Captain Spaulding and Rufus T. Firefly. Those were all in, Duck Soup or Night at the Opera and all those movies. They kind of break the, I don't know if they're not really breaking the fourth wall, but they make that connection. They mention that at one part in the movie, these investigators, there's a sheriff that's investigating a Psycho family, and it comes up that Groucho Marx died roughly the same time as Elvis Presley. And nobody remembers that Groucho died because the King of Rock and Roll died. Yeah. And I just when I think about two celebrities dying around the same time, and one of them just overshadows the other one. And they were
Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah. Farrah Fawcett dies from a long battle with cancer or something, and then Michael Jackson, Groucho was an old man. Farrah Fawcett died of cancer. Elvis and Michael Jackson, those were preventable deaths.
Yeah.
Substance abuse and
anesthesia
for no fucking
reason. The thing
reason.
is, we had no idea what was going on in their lives, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Elvis, but I know Michael Jackson. He was really a secluded artist.
Yeah.
But both of them had enablers around them. People that, if they didn't do what Michael wanted, if they didn't fetch drugs for him or whatever, didn't fetch Elvis his shit, they would, get written out of the will. They'd be out of the entourage. They would,
it's better than having him dead, and now look at him. Look at where he's at now. Neverland is gone. He could be alive right now if, they would have stopped him.
Yeah.
Would have got some help. Like most artists,
Here's the thing. Right now, there are celebrities who are hurting themselves that have enablers around them right now. I don't know who they are because I don't follow them that well.
Yeah.
But, usually they're mostly recording artists.
Yeah.
It's mostly because they go on tour and they got they're called, I think they're called riders, where they demand I only want the fucking brown M&Ms and shit and all that crap.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So they're the prima donnas. They're spoiled. they're the talent though, but everybody around them has to do what they want because they're kings and queens of what they do, and nothing can get in their way, nothing can bring them down.
Yeah, well, you know, at least from what I've seen, Chris Cornell didn't
It's
seem like
allowed.
someone like that.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't know that much
He just
about a
seemed
lot
like
of these.
he just seemed like a regular, well-adjusted person. So I don't know. It's like it is like
You know what?
it is a lot like Robin Williams, where they seem so happy on the outside, and it's like you never know,
Oh, dude,
what's wrong with them.
You have to look at the thing is you have to look at their art. Look at what they've been in.
Yeah.
That music grunge music inherently that is like depressing music. The music that he wrote is like some of the most, sad, depressing music there is, and other of it, it's like the opposite. It's very energetic and motivational and shit.
I mean, in your house, I wish to be. I'll be there, waiting for you like a stone. I'm gonna hit my rusty cage and run. I can't remember lyrics. I'm not a lyric person. I'm a music person. Like, I remember all the notes in a song, but I'm not good with lyrics because I'm not a singer. But there was, let me see, any Soundgarden lyrics that distinctly come to my mind right now. Can't.
Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away the rain. Black.
And there was the burden in my hand. I hurt myself again today. Won't you come for me?
These are all depressing songs that kind of show there's something wrong, but no one catches on.
No, the thing is, somebody writing music like that, they're gonna have they have some issues. Okay, dude. Okay, it's that simple. But the thing is, if you're, I would just think like if you're a successful, you made it, you've made millions of dollars in your career. It's like, I kind of have a hard time believing the credibility of an artist if they continue writing music like that, kind of, because it's one thing if you're like broke, you're a broke ass musician, and you're putting like all your emotions like of shit that's like really happening to your life because you're having a hard life, and then you make your music on that. But then like if you're like a fucking millionaire, it's harder to get inspiration to do that kind of music. But it's almost like you shouldn't even want to even go there, because dude, that's like some sad shit. And then I was talking about Robin Williams. If you look at some of his movies, I mean, he's played characters that have had like these mental disorders, people that have just like had their lives ruined, people that I'm trying to think. Well, there's this one where he's a homeless guy. I think it's called like the Fisher King or the Fisherman King. And then Good Will Hunting, he's like a widower. And there's so many like touching moment fucking Robin Williams movies. Like Robin Williams touched a lot of people's lives with the movies that he made.
Yeah.
And there was also just to say, he was a comedian. He did comedy. He was mostly known for comedy. If you're known as like one of the funniest people on earth, whenever somebody talks to you, you always feel like kind of like this pressure that's like, oh, everybody wants me to be funny, but it's unnatural to just be funny all the time. If he was bipolar, for all that manic humor that he had going, he was probably hiding something just as depressing, just on the opposite side of the spectrum of emotions.
Yeah,
that kind of explains how Robin Williams, he didn't really show that, but I'm sure in private life he definitely had some depression issues. And it goes with a lot of artists, like Van Gogh and shit. These great artists that like kill themselves or hurt themselves, mutilate themselves. Can we move on to another topic? We don't have a doc this week.
Yeah, we don't.
We didn't.
Yeah, so the other thing that I want to talk about, because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it, is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Jaren, did you see it?
No, I was tempted to go see it, but I got busy. But I was gonna watch it today on my stuff.
Okay, yeah, it was really, yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. And I think you could say the biggest differences between the two movies is the first one is the big scope about the action. The second one does have great action in it, but what I noticed is it's a lot like The Empire Strikes Back, where it was more about the relationships between the characters, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
So that's what it was about this time? Just the relationship stuff?
Yeah, that's like one of the big meanings about it. But yeah, there
Okay,
were...
am I saying this right? Yondu?
Yeah, that's
okay,
him.
Yondu probably had the biggest role
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
and
you see more of him, and you know, in the first one he's kind of like, you don't trust this dude. This guy, he's a criminal, he's a bad dude, he's sketchier than Han Solo ever was, or something, you know, because he's fucking killing a bunch of people, and he kills a bunch of people in this movie too.
Yep. One of the best scenes to watch in that movie. Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that? That thing, he whistles a fucking like arrow that just goes every. Is that some of the most OP shit ever?
Yeah, kind of is.
What is that?
Yeah, that I don't know what's up with that, but he's had that ever since the cartoon. When I first saw him, I was like, "What is that overpowered like thing? Like, what is that weapon?" To be honest.
Okay, and I think I've even looked that up. What the fuck is that? And I already forgot. I forgot what it was, but it's like his fin. It's part of like, I don't. That's some kind of technology. I don't think he was born with that shit, because he like attaches that.
Yeah, because that's part of his fin on the top of his head. It allows him to control it.
Okay, so Yondu, definitely, if you were gonna say that this is better than the first one, it's all about Yondu. Like, Yondu has like some of the best lines in the fucking movie. I mean, I personally didn't really think the Mary Poppins one was that funny.
Everyone was laughing their ass off when I saw that.
Laughter is contagious. I thought the fucking, you know, we were talking about the movie yesterday, Gigi, and dude, the Zune part, that made me laugh out loud watching the bootleg fucking video, dude. Like that's fucking. It's like, oh, you got. It was like 10-year-old technology that was like a failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what's funny about that. But the thing is, if you had a Zune back in like 2001,
2006 is when they came out.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you had a Zune.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You'd be a fucking baller.
Yeah.
This would be like so much greater than like any iPod or any MP3 player out there.
Yeah.
And like for frame of reference, he's going from a Sony Walkman to a Zune, and it's like 400 songs. I hope some of this, you know, the tapes he had. That's music he chose. He picked out. You know what I mean?
Technically, he didn't. Well, he did choose to play it, but those were mixtapes his mom made for him.
Okay, his mom made for him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he got the Zune, but he didn't get to choose what music is on it.
Yeah.
It's gonna have practically the same music.
And the other thing that
it's not gonna have like freaking jazz from the 1930s.
Yeah, but the one thing I really enjoy, and it makes no logical sense, but I love that all the music that comes from space is just all stuff from the 60s through the 70s and early 80s. I love that.
Now, we're talking music that Star-Lord is playing, or were they just playing it like Okay, do you remember in the movie where you saw like Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
And like Sylvester Stallone, it was like some bar or something, and I don't know. Okay, so are you saying like they were playing like 60s music then?
I think they were, yeah.
Just to say, the video I saw of the movie, the
Or
audio
they were
wasn't
playing
that
like
great,
70s
but-
punk or something like that. I couldn't really remember, but I really did enjoy it. The other thing that I really enjoyed about the movie, well, I'd say Drax got a lot funnier in this movie too. He really did. I loved all the lines he had.
Oh yeah, it was like him and Mantis.
Yeah,
That's her name.
yeah, Mantis.
That is some top notch autism right there. Because those people don't know how to process emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's what was funny about those characters.
Yeah.
Like one of them, she like doesn't really have emotions, but she can feel other people's emotions.
Yeah.
So she feels emotions by touching other people. Like literally, like she has to like grab their hand or something.
Uh-huh.
And she says that she can't read minds, but she can read emotions, which that's kind of like reading a mind, regardless of what she says, because a lot can be expressed in emotions if you could actually feel somebody. But Drax and her, it's like the way they interact. That was another layer of comedy going on, like what they had going on there. And we want to keep talking about what was anything else that was funny?
I also think that Kurt Russell was so good in this movie. He really was.
Kurt Russell.
Who was great?
I'd never heard of Ego the planet.
I have.
The planet god.
Yeah.
But something I learned about just recently, there was a deal between like the people that own the rights for X-Men and the people that own the rights for Marvel
so
stuff.
what happened was Marvel traded. That's such a weird deal. You
Spider-Man
traded No,
Ego?
no, you
Is that
traded
it?
No. What happened was Fox traded no, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
Fox
wait,
traded
Colossus.
Fox No. Fox had Ego the Living Planet. Marvel had Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and they traded that. So Fox could use Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Deadpool, and Marvel could use Ego for Guardians.
So
2.
Fox had Colossus regardless.
Yeah.
They did?
Okay. I'm trying to think. Was Colossus in Days of Future Past?
No. All I
No.
know is he was in The Last Stand. That piece of shit. Or I don't really know.
Wait. Last Stand was bad, but it wasn't
was-
that bad. Chill. It wasn't that bad.
Eh. Well, anyways, Colossus, I think he was in the third one, but yeah, I don't think we saw him again until Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really remember. But
It's funny how when they had Colossus in Deadpool, he was just metal the whole time, like he never switched back.
yeah,
I don't think he could in this universe.
yeah.
Okay.
But I do like that. I do like that we got to see a lot more between Gamora and Nebula.
Oh
and
yeah,
their relationship.
that was important story there too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I kind of forgot their name. Nebula's the blue one and Gamora's
Yeah.
the green one, and it was like Nebula. She's like part machine.
Yeah,
because every time she lost,
Fighting
any
Gamora,
kind of-
Thanos
any
would
kind-
tear off a limb.
what a dick!
Mm-hmm.
What a dick! I mean, that just means Gamora won every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of that, Gamora, like, straight up just killed that first fucking monster boss at the start of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't they do that in the first place?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, it's like they're shooting at this fucking thing with, like, all this firearms, artillery, rockets flying around, shooting
Mhm.
at them. Fucking Drax is inside of it. He fucking got eaten on purpose so he could, like, scratch it up on the inside. And it's
But it
like...
wouldn't do anything, yeah.
It didn't mean shit. Like, all...
But I wonder how he got that cut in the first place.
Wait, Drax or...
No, I'm talking about like the monster. How he says there's a cut on his neck. Rocket, get him to look up so that Gamora could just slice him down.
All right, so he was carving from the inside, and that made the hole in the neck.
I don't know. They never explained it. They just said that he has a cut on his neck.
Because maybe him carving on the inside made a weak
Yeah.
spot that Gamora could.
Maybe.
I'm trying to.
The other thing that I liked too was Rocket gets roasted a lot in this fucking movie. Can I pet your puppy, your strange triangle-faced monkey? And I just went like, ah. And I also like how he says the turd, because I placed the turd in there. And no, it's Drax's turd. Ha! I have famously huge turds. Everyone was laughing at that.
Taserface.
Yeah, Taserface.
You know, just to say, I think a lot of the comedy in this, it's definitely, you're more likely to laugh if you're around a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only time I think I really, like, LOL'd was that fucking Zune at the end.
Yeah, see, I was also laughing at...
out of fucking nowhere.
I was also laughing at Baby Groot with the fucking Skittles when Drax was holding the rope on the ship.
Yeah, I don't remember. He actually had Skittles?
Yeah, he was like eating something.
Yeah, I don't remember that part, but...
Yeah.
Also, another thing, something I didn't understand about the movie was... definitely had something to do with ego, so...
Yeah, we don't want to spoil what happens there, but...
when they show that room full of skeletons, it's like, what? I was very confused about
yeah, I don't, that's spoiler territory. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, just...
Yeah.
And then, like, all those planets, they started... It wasn't just Earth, right? There were other, like, alien planets where that purple shit was just spreading all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like...
because he planted that flower there, or that plant, that allowed him to gain control in that area.
So... there were all kinds of different planets that were getting, like, ravaged at the same time. Because he had planted seeds on all of them, and he just needed, like, one sun to come back.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right. So anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. If you had to give it a score, Edward, what would you give it?
Probably 7.5 or 8.
Okay.
Something like
All
that.
right, yeah, so definitely go see it if you haven't watched it yet. So next up, I want to talk about Injustice 2, because now the game is finally out, and I've been able to play it for like a few hours, but goddamn, I had to pry myself away from the story to do this podcast, because I'm once it started, I couldn't begin. I felt like it made me feel like a little kid inside a movie theater, like watching this all happen, unfold for the first time. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it a lot. See, I mean, the story is so good. If they could nail the story, like I'm on chapter 5, so I'm playing as Green Lantern right now. But I would imagine there's 13 chapters, because I think there were 13 chapters in Injustice 1. But so far, I really love it. And based on what I've played, I believe it was like maybe 1.5 or 2 hours now. I can't say enough good things about it. And here's my hope. If NetherRealm can get the story right, with stuff that looks real, with realistic looking human graphics, why the fuck can't Warner Brothers Pictures get their DC movies right? However, I will say, I have not looked at any reviews. I refuse to look at any reviews, because I want to go there with a completely unbiased mind, without knowing what anyone else thinks of it yet. But from what I've heard, Wonder Woman is the best DC movie so far. And that makes me very happy to hear.
So, best DC movie since
Man of Steel.
Since Man of Steel, okay.
Since that was the beginning of this universe.
All right.
So, yeah. So, they're saying that Wonder Woman becomes the beacon of hope that fucking dick Superman never became. In this universe.
Okay.
All right.
It's pretty
So and I was saying, how great would it be if Wonder Woman was the one to be the first great one, and now we're finally here. So I'm happy to hear that. But anyways, I really love the way that they're bringing in Green Arrow and Black Canary. What just happened?
No, I'm practicing Harley Quinn combos. I'm in the shit, but man, fucking keep going.
Okay, so
this game.
As we can tell by how distracted Jaren is from it, we are both enjoying Injustice 2 very much. I've had some experience playing the beta, and I'm not as good as Black Canary right now as I used to be, but I will be soon, hopefully, maybe. Because she was my favorite character to play with, but now we've got all these other characters, which I will go through in the story, so I was able to play as Harley again. And I seem to be enjoying her a lot more than I did in the first game. So, yeah, this is going to be good. But, yeah, the tone of it, I just love how they're taking everything that was good about the Injustice 1 story and just deepening those character relationships further. I'm liking that.
Have they adjusted, like, any core mechanics of the game? All right. An example of that, I think in Mortal Kombat 10, they added there's 3 different modes your fighter could be in.
Yeah,
Did they do anything like that?
No, not in here.
Well, what about how about in Injustice 1? Was there a leveling system where you're level 1, 4, 5 or something? And in Injustice 2, is that new, or was that in the first one?
Well, they had levels in Injustice, but they have this gear system where the more you play, you unlock different gear, which alters your stats differently. Like, this will give you more damage protection. This gives you more damage. This piece gives you, and there's different perks.
And that's new. That's new, right?
Yes, that's the new stuff.
My Batman, he will only do half of his super. It will only do half of the health. But now, the way I have it with the strength buff to a certain extent, I do 75% of a person's health.
Yeah.
Now, the way that you can tell how much better it is it just by bars being bigger or longer or shorter or something? How can you tell are you getting actual numbers?
Yeah. For when you look at each gear piece, it tells you how it affects your stamina or your damage.
But does it say percentages, or does it
I
say,
believe it does. It has a number.
It doesn't do percentages, but it does 1 through 200, I think.
Yeah.
So pretty much a piece of gear might have 200 strength, but have -9 of health.
Yeah.
But might have a booster of
So it constantly compares to what the equipped gear you have on.
Used to say I've played a lot of games where I'm trying to think of the best example would probably be Call of Duty, where when they initially released the game, the weapons in multiplayer, there are these stat charts for how what how the weapons work, what the damage is, how fast it is, how quickly you reload it, or shit like that, whatever. And over time, they tend to patch weapons. They do, they nerf stuff or they buff stuff. They do shit like that, and they don't change those pictures. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's kind of sketchy what's really going on behind the scenes. I think they do that in anytime they rebalance multiplayer, kind of online games. That kind of stuff comes up. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's Injustice 2, and I'm
just more customization. Was there anything changed to the fighting? Or?
To the fighting, yeah. I believe you can sprint now, which is new.
No.
Or no, you can do a super roll, which uses up one meter. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. And I know you can hold down L2 to stay down on the ground longer. That was in the tutorial. And I like what they did with the tutorial, where they teach you more advanced things. They teach you about like canceling and using your meat and using. They teach you more about meter burns and the different types of meter burn moves and how you can reverse a combo block.
There's a more in-depth tutorial.
Yeah.
That's very
So that's good to introduce like these concepts to people like me that are jack shit at fighting games. But still, it's a big fucking commitment to like teach your brain to know what all this shit means.
Honestly, the best thing is to start off with Batman. That's the easiest person you'll actually how to understand how to do these combos.
Yeah, and then you'll apply those concepts to the other characters once you get to learn them.
You know, before this started, I was saying that that's very similar to how in Super Smash Bros. 4, Mario is the easiest character to use. So it's like the biggest mascots are like the easiest to use.
Yeah.
That's what's going on there.
Yeah. But one thing that's weird, doesn't it seem like the Flash should be moving a lot faster than he actually is?
Yeah, he seems a little bit slower than I actually thought.
Like, only a few moves, like different special moves will make him move a lot faster.
Like his B?
Yeah, like he just looks like he should be running all the time, but he's not, and that throws me off a little bit because I'm used to the show where Barry's always running around all the time when he's fighting and stuff. So,
well, dude, I was watching. You know, I've seen some of the Flash season 1, and like anytime I see the Flash and like Captain Cold, it's just like, why doesn't this guy just run around him and like hit him in the fucking head? Like, what? It's a guy with a gun.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
The thing is, the story is what brings this game all together. Honestly, I beat the game in like 30 minutes because I wanted to do a speed run to see if I could, beat it, And I beat it in like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Wait, the story, you can complete it in 30 minutes?
If you skip past the cutscenes, you can beat it in around 30 minutes, depending on what difficulty you have.
Why would you skip the cutscenes?
Because I already seen them. I got an early copy of it. I did the game twice because there's two different endings.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll be interested.
Yeah, you just make your choices wisely. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, you can actually make choices in the story. That's I didn't know you could do that. That's new.
No, they're like minor switch.
Because
okay. So what you're describing to me that you can just complete the story mode in like a half hour if you just skip the cutscenes.
Skip the cutscenes.
That reminds me. That reminds me of back in the day having Mortal Kombat 2, and you could just like complete it, doing just like the arcade mode, where you would just climb up the totem pole until you got up to Shao Kahn. That's kind of what you kind of just described. You just go from fight to fight, just skipping shit, and it's like. That's kind of what that sounds like. It's kind of like arcade mode.
But I think they do have an arcade mode in this, too.
Apparently there's a ladder mode, but I don't know where it is. I don't know what it's called.
I think it was called something like Challenge the Multiverse or something like that.
Okay. Okay, in the story mode, you're switching characters while you're playing too, right?
Yeah, it automatically switches.
And then in the ladder mode or arcade, you're sticking with the same guy.
Yeah.
Go. All right.
Yeah, so I fucking love it. It's, I'm completely satisfied with the little I've played so far, but it seems like a very great product.
No, black arm left.
Yeah, alright. Shit.
No.
Okay.
Anything else to talk about?
Not really. I mean, this was all I was going to want to talk about, but shit, we need to get him back, so we could end the... Okay. Well, I had to change the view here, but, So,
yeah.
I was So yesterday I was talking to Edward about me trying to start collecting cassette tapes because I already have a big
Okay.
vinyl collection, but I don't have a lot of cassettes. So I want to do that because I want to, and of course I've got like over 100 CDs that I'm looking at right there. But I don't know why, but to me CDs aren't as fun because it's all digital stuff. So if you're doing digital, why not just listen to your phone? And I know there's going to be fucking audio. And of course, you know, as my tribute, I changed my lock screen to Chris Cornell. It used to be Doctor Strange, but now it's Chris Cornell. So,
Chris Cornell with a haircut could look like Doctor Strange.
you know what? Well, Chris Cornell did get a haircut. You know, his hair was shorter during the Audio Slave days and in the like late '90s.
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about
Cassettes.
what you like.
Oh yeah, because to me it's like I grew up with CDs, so I know how they all work. But I guess because I never grew up with cassettes, or I did very briefly with cassettes and vinyl records, because of that, there's like this discoverability factor of me learning how this technology works for the first time.
Okay,
There's this fun factor in it.
Here's an example of something Jaron learning about old technology. He had a tape that I guess like it had gotten eaten a little bit, so there was the tape was like coming out of the cassette tape, and he didn't know what to do with it. And I just told him, "Oh, just stick your index finger in there and try to wind it back in." And
Yeah, because I've seen people like using pencils to do that too, where they use a pencil to turn.
I don't know. Maybe if they're too fat, they can't.
Maybe. Or it's if that's a way to do it faster, but yeah. So because my player that I have right here, if
I mean, personally,
like if you can see that boombox right there, that boombox over there is where I play the cassettes in, and
and I would just say you should just stick with that, really, man. I mean, it's like you should. I mean, the portability of cassette players, it's like it's so obsolete. It doesn't matter. Just
Jaron said my laptop crashed. Windows forced an update. Shit. Well, okay.
He's got to change his settings.
Okay.
I got mine where it only does that like when I'm not using it, and it'll do it like probably between like 3 and 8 in the morning or something. Like that's typically when it would do it. But there's a big Windows update that you can get right now.
It's called the Creator Update. I don't have it yet.
You should probably just grab it by the balls and just do it before it forces you to do it.
Well, I set it my computer to update at like 3 a.m. So yeah. The other thing too, so Jaron won't be with us for the rest of the podcast, it seems like. So before I forget to mention this, his YouTube channel, you can follow him. It's the game. Sorry, his YouTube channel is Black Arm Gaming 1995. So be sure to follow him there. So, anyways, but I was wanting to get higher quality cassettes, but in order to do that, I would need to purchase a cassette deck, and then I would need to get some good quality, like, bookshelf speakers to attach it to, because that's like a consumer product, but I wanted something a bit more high-end. Like, I know there's
I would so just let this go and don't even bother doing this, dude. Dude, just don't do this. Oh my god! Like how much do you think this is going to cost if you do this? Like what? Like
$100?
Just $100. And you got to get like the bookshelf speakers too.
Yeah, but you know I could always use a good set of speakers for anything. So
I don't know. It's kind of working back. I wouldn't recommend it. And but if you really want to do that. You know,
I mean, of course, I don't have any money to do it right now, but it's something I'm thinking about doing. But also, you could also buy this field recorder. I found out about this Sony field recorder that journalists used. Shit, I forget what it's called. The, damn it. There's this guy whose YouTube channel is called Techmoan. He really specializes in retro tech. He's a guy from England. He's really good. Okay, that's what it's called. It's the Sony TCD5. And I can send this video to Edward. And this thing was like the inspiration for the Walkman, because it was a field recorder that journalists would carry to like record interviews and stuff, and on cassettes. And
I should have mentioned this to you in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which is like takes place in like '73. It takes place right before Ground Zero.
I remember seeing a Sony like cassette recorder on there.
Yeah, dude, it literally is a Sony Walkman in 1973. Like this is like spy technology and shit.
But I also remember seeing that Sony cassette recorder being used during a Michael Jordan press interview in the 80s. This is back when Michael Jordan still had hair.
Well, the Walkman, it was a consumer product that was like it was like a really big deal back in the 80s. But it's just funny that they put that in fucking like Metal Gear, like this is like top secret spy technology, having a Walkman like 10 years before it was
because if you look there in the Skype chat, I put up the Sony, it's the TCD5. It was a bit bigger than a Walkman. You know, it looks like the size of like 2 or 3 iPhones stacked together. And they would use that, and they'd plug the microphone into that to record stuff into. But I remember hearing something about the leader of Sony at the time. He enjoyed like going walking in the fields, in the woods in Japan, and like going on picnics and listening to classical music. But he would complain the speaker wasn't good enough, and it was a bit bulky to carry around. So I want to listen to my classical music tapes on a cassette thing that you could take around with you, and that's how talks for making the first Walkman started.
Dude, when I look at this thing, I'm just thinking of like police interrogation rooms.
Yeah, that was used for that too.
From the 90s or something.
Probably where they talked to OJ that first time they captured him. Yeah.
We got you on tape, Juice. Give it up.
Yeah. So anyways, to complete that, maybe I'll go buy a 1990s Ford Bronco, make that as my car, and escape from the police in it. Crying in the back.
I think that car went on auction recently.
The exact car that the OJ's
the
drivers
exact one,
drove.
and I think it went for like $150,000. Like,
because I heard that Ford discontinued the Bronco, but they're going to be bringing it back for 2018 or 2019, and I don't know what the purpose of it was, because it was like a mini SUV, but it was had only one door in it. So you had to like fold the back seats back so people could get in the back. Yeah.
Bronco. Duke Nukem 3D. You can like go to a bar and like you can see like the OJ car chase. There's like a little GIF, little short animation that just repeats itself of like a white car driving on the freeway. That's so nice that they put that in there. Detail.
Yeah, so anyways, this is the end of the podcast. I mean,
looks like we're not going to be doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And that's GG's,
because I can't really
decide.
Get my heart to commit to this right now because I've got other commitments to put myself towards. So anyways, I would say, I enjoy doing this podcast. Hopefully I can learn some new YouTube strategies, and hopefully I could get some people to watch this fucking show. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time, and I really would like to do a Wonder Woman movie review, so I could get Edward and Jaren and Zach and Max, hopefully, to join us on that. So, we'll see you for that Wonder Woman review. That's what I'm planning on doing for us for the next time. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Edward, people can find you here on this podcast.
Absolutely.
And because he doesn't really do much YouTube videos anymore.
And if you want to do if you want to do a call on something else that isn't related to this podcast, I mean, I could do those.
Yeah. So, and anyways, and of course,
I guess because your plan is you want to work with people like in person in your area and do some stuff.
Yes, that's what I'm planning on doing. Yeah.
Okay, so for anybody watching at home, that's what he's going to be focusing on, trying to cook up some ideas on what they could do. And I don't know, like we were kind of, he was bouncing some ideas off of me, and a lot of it just kind of sounded like, oh, kids and teens react to old technology, and yeah, that's kind of been done to death already. But it's just like, I don't know, it's hard to be original now on YouTube, especially with YouTube ad apocalypse and all that shit. So
yeah, so
I don't have any real answers, but I could always be a guest for him on whatever he wants.
Yeah. So, and of course, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos from me. And to make sure you don't miss out, after you subscribe, please click on the bell so that you never miss out on a new video from me. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you for that Wonder Woman review. So that movie comes out June 2nd. I'm hoping that we can record a review together for it on June 3rd. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.